Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Gone are the days of wrestling with our favorite LJN wrestling figures, trying to convince them to stand up. What's a guy to do? I'll tell you what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get on Etsy and look up 4 Left 3D Creations and get yourself these amazing custom LJN figure stands. There is a custom stand available for every single one of your LJN wrestling superstar figures. Make your display shine by grabbing these custom LJN stands from 4 Left 3D Creations today.
Well, hello everybody. Jason of New Age Revolution Cave. Put out a poll today, as I always do. Put a poll out today, and lots of feedback, appreciated feedback. Some people are asking me, are shows going to go away? I put out a poll that said, you know, what's your favorite show on the channel? You know, Wrestling with the Past, Hey Do You Remember, the daily Nup vlogs, the Nup All Nights, that kind of deal. And you know, your least 2 favorites so far are most memorable wrestling moments, which is fine, and hey, you want to play some Nintendo. That's not doing too well in the voting. And that's some people said, are you going to get rid of some? Probably. You know, getting rid of them as an actual show that I would bank on every Thursday or every Friday. We don't have any Power Hour questions left, so if you want the Power Hour to continue, send some questions. Or send topics even. You know, would you like a topic on... Well, we have to be careful with that because I don't want to give, you know, I don't want to hit some hot button issues with people. But if you want to ask a, you know, if you want a Power Hour topic about depression or about divorce or about death or about whatever, you know, I can give you some of my mental health thoughts on that. I won't do politics, obviously. Won't do any of those hot button issues. But yeah, let's you know, get some Power Hour questions. And the hey, you want to play some Nintendo? I think I'll keep because it's good for me. It's good for the kid. Liam and I like to play. You know, so we'll see. I still want to do dailies. Dailies is important, but I think if we mix in the day in the life type of stuff, in addition to Nup All Night, you know, I think, look, those are my most viewed videos. I just did a Sunday in the life, and it'll probably hit 500 views by, you know, tomorrow morning. And that's a lot for the channel, believe it or not. That's a good amount, you know, that would, so those are the ones that people watch, to be honest with you. Anyway, we're going to do one that I didn't have on the list to vote because I'm keeping it, and I'm keeping it all throughout. I'm going to keep it for a long, long time because there's a lot more figures to look at. The LJNs Revisited. We take a closer look at each figure in the greatest toy line of all time, the LJN Wrestling Superstars, and we are up to quite an infamous character as of late. You know, is it a coincidence that I'm doing this figure the week that OJ died? No, probably not. It's probably just a coincidence. Before we talk about this fella, we got to take a look at his stand. Not the defense stand that he will certainly be on at some point in his life. The stand, the LJN stand that he will be displayed on. There he is. Billy Jack Haynes, the custom LJN stand from 4 Left 3D Creations. You know what to do. You've done it a million times already. You go on Etsy. You go 4 Left 3D Creations. 4 is F-O-R-E, of course. Let's not get crazy. 4 Left 3D Creations. Get yourself a custom LJN stand just like this one for Billy Jerk Haynes, as Bobby Heenan used to call him, Billy Jerk. And that might be his new prison nickname, as Billy Jack Haynes was recently arrested for murdering his wife. Allegedly. Well, here he is. Billy Jack Haynes, ladies and gentlemen. Billy Jack Haynes. I mean, how much can we talk about him? Well, you're going to talk about him because I'm talking about an action figure. I'm not talking about the man himself, the human. I'm talking about an action figure, a big 8-inch glob of rubber. Billy Jack Haynes, folks, is actually a fantastic figure. I think this is a great, great figure. I think it's got a tremendous play pose. It's got so much detail. It's got a great tattoo of an eagle. Let me get my old man glasses off. U.S. Army. It says clearly on that tattoo, U.S. Army. He's got the sweatband around his neck. He's got dual color sweatbands on one arm, green sweatband, and yet another tattoo of another hawk or whatever there on his forearm. He's got Oregon on the boots, and he's got Oregon on his trunks. This is a tremendous figure, and it comes with an accessory. His Billy Jack Haynes hat. This is a great figure. This is a great figure, and it's a tremendous play pose. Hat, great accessory. Great accessory. There he is, Billy Jack Haynes. Now, Billy Jack Haynes came in around 87. Now, what a lot of people don't know is Billy Jack Haynes was supposed to debut in the WWF in 1984. In fact, if you go back and watch some 84 WWF TV, you will see vignettes that advertised Billy Jack Haynes coming into the WWF. He was on a horse, and it was even more of his Billy Jack Haynes prime, I think. Billy Jack Haynes was a great star in Florida, and was making his way to. And was he in Pacific Northwest also? Was he in Playboy Buddy Rose's Federation? Was that in Portland? Did he actually wrestle in Portland, Oregon? But I know he was in Florida, and when he was coming in '84, and he's sitting on that horse, I actually see Intercontinental Champion, right? I see it. I think when he came in '87, it was a few years too late, and he wasn't. They did the yellow and green Oregon gimmick. I don't think they would have done that in '84. I think he would have just been, tough guy Billy Jack Haynes, and I think that would have been cool. In fact, they were just calling him Billy Jack in '84. So he's got a couple of vignettes. He's riding in on a horse. He's doing his promo. I'm coming to WWF. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And he never debuted. It never happened. For whatever reason, the deal didn't happen. They didn't think he was ready. He didn't think he was ready, whatever. And he went back to, I think, PNW, Pacific Northwest Wrestling, or Florida, or wherever. And it just kind of died. He did like 2 or 3 or 4 weeks of vignettes, and then never to be heard from until 1987 or so. And then I think when he came in '87, it was too late. But there's actually a blooper somewhere out there on YouTube, I think, a blooper of one of those vignettes where he's on the horse, and the horse, or gets off the horse, and the horse is kind of like nudging him in the behind, or in the front maybe even, and he just cracks up, and it's great. I love seeing that stuff. But anyway, then he went on to kill his wife. So here's Billy Jack Haynes. Now, I got Billy Jack Haynes in a very interesting way, and I've talked about this before. It was the year that my half sister was born. My mom's second marriage. She had 2 kids, and it was the year that she was born. It was like almost a week or the day that she was born. So I think it was like '88. I'm pretty sure it was '88. I don't know why. Maybe like I didn't have like money. Did I have money? I'm trying to think. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. I think I won like $50. My grandparents used to go to a bar when I was very little on Sundays. Every Sunday they would go to this bar, and it was not a bar restaurant like we know today. It was just a bar in the hood, and they would just sit there at like noon and drink until like 5 and then go home, and I assume go to bed. I was like, young. Well, over the years, they stopped doing that, but they would like, there was something called a 50-50 raffle. And even though they weren't going, they would still contribute money to the bar. And then if they got their name drawn, they'd go pick up the money like, a week later or so. Well, one year they put it in and they won, and I don't know, it somehow ended up being my money. And so they gave me the $50. And I went to my mom's husband at the time, my stepdad, took me to Toys R Us or Kitty City. I can't remember which one. And it was 88, and they had a bin of LJN figures. Very discounted. They were like $4, like $4.99, something like that. And I ended up getting Billy Jack Haynes, Ken Patera, One Man Gang, and I think Slick. And maybe even one more. But it wasn't Bigelow, and it wasn't Honky, and it wasn't DiBiase. I don't know. But I got like 4 or 5 LJNs that day for $4.99, and Billy Jack was one of them. And I immediately started having matches with Billy Jack and used him a lot in 88 or so. I did team him up with Ken Patera, and Ken Patera is an awful figure, but I like this figure. I just wish that it was not so good guy-ish, because I think Billy Jack Haynes would make a pretty good bad guy if he wasn't all smiley and Oregoni, and you can't make this guy a bad guy. So I think it's a great figure, to be honest with you. I used him a lot. I didn't even like Billy Jack Haynes, like the wrestler, but I just thought that this was such a good figure. So let's take a closer look at Billy Jack Haynes, and then we'll move on.
All right, friends, there it is. Another close look at the custom LJN stand of Billy Jack Haynes from 4 Left 3D Creations. Hop on Etsy, 4 Left 3D Creations today for all of your custom LJN stand needs. And here he is, the Billy Jack Haynes. That's right. Billy Jack Haynes, decent face. Kind of captures his likeness pretty well. I like the hair. I like the kind of like the matted down hair. It actually gives you the nice the hat, sits the hat groove they put in the hair. If you notice, it's got a little groove there, where his hair is flattened down by the hat. I like that detail. He's got for whatever reason, Billy Jack Haynes wore a headband around his neck. We've got the green and yellow armbands. We've got one solo green. I'd have to look back and see if that's what he really actually wore. Yellow trunks, white boots, green socks. And then the detail begins on the back. Take a look at this. The tattoos are fantastic. That's not going to focus in. Sorry about that. Tattoos fantastic. There you go. Both arms have great detailed tattoos. Oregon on the trunks, Oregon on both boots, and it's a great figure. Play pose, I think, is tremendous. Absolutely tremendous play pose. The accessory is great. I've seen people use this for like a custom Undertaker hat, but it is a great Billy Jack Haynes hat. Fits perfectly on his head with that little head groove. And we got a good looking figure, folks. We have a very good looking figure that I got in 1988 in a discounted LJN bin for $4.99, somewhere around there. Good figure, guys. Character I wasn't a big fan of. Billy Jack Haynes I wasn't a fan of. He's brought us, comedy relief on his YouTube videos, on his shoot interviews. He comes across as an absolute, comes across as a guy that just might murder his wife someday. But regardless of that, still a great figure. Billy Jack Haynes, LJN's Revisited. Next time, we're going to be taking a look at 2 figures, 2 of my favorites, 2 of the best LJN figures, 2 of the best wrestlers or tag teams of all time, the Hart Foundation we'll take a look at next time. Good night now.